If they're able to separate you from the flock one, then it's too bad.
Oh, so it's purely tactical?
Yes.
This is not like your polite way of confirming that you don't have another family in Afghanistan?
You will not have. First of all, because of...
Wadau manze, I couldn't help it. Once I met Mr. Njoroge Muigai, I knew we've met someone who can answer all the burning questions we have about the military. Kuna kwanga na allegations that women don't go to the war front. Are there women who actually engage in direct combat?
They do. I can tell you they do. They even fly jets and they fight. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
I've seen them.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming that. So now, this is not for me. This is for the people watching. They told me to ask you this.
Right.
Who marries the women who fight terrorists? Now brace yourself for a military masterclass, because I can guarantee you that our conversation with Mr. Njoroge Muigai is worth every second of your time.
At the same time, you're a father. You get a son and you're still serving. The son grows, goes to school, and he comes back. Now he's of age and he joins as a cadet, but you are other ranks. He goes through the training and is commissioned. He becomes your boss, but you are the father.
Your son becomes your boss?
Yes. And it has happened. Yeah.
But I'm the boss at home still.
It doesn't matter. Now home is home. But here is work.
You know, it's funny because that can happen.
It has happened.
And of course, a special message for the Sleeping Naked Brigade. His unit mates also beat him up because they feel like...
In fact, I was thinking about the same. I would have done, you'll do the same.
You'll beat him up?
Yes, you beat him up.
I'm your host, Dr. Kingori, and here's another reason to stay subscribed to our channel. Kama hauja subscribe, this right here is another reason to hit subscribe and turn on the notifications bell. Allow me to start this conversation with a question that excites people who don't understand how the system works. There's a question I've seen people ask, military officers or former military officers,
yes.
But it's a dangerous question, depending on who you ask. And please help us navigate it.
Yes.
The question of everyone assumes, and I think it's based on a statement I said on the show last year.
Yes.
You guys are not trained to arrest.
Yes.
You can't get trained to arrest.
Yeah, not trained on civil.
Oh,
yeah.
Ah, yes. You're not trained to be civil,
yeah.
Right? So everyone assumes that now that you're trained to kill, when someone engages with a military officer, there's a question that excites people. Could say, hey, how was your first experience? How do you deal with that? Okay, and we assume that by asking that, one can give an experience or an account of what that is, and people ask from different points of view,
yes,
right?
Yes.
How do you think military officers should deal with that question, and people should deal with asking that question to someone who has served?
You see, first to serve is a dedication. And before you are released out here, you've gone through training, a lot of training. So you absorbed most of what you are talking about. And you've come, not many people come from training and straight to the streets. You train for some time, and sometimes after the main training, you come back and get assimilated into a certain area. Then you started training again, so that you are maturing. So you are able to handle any question that comes. But you're also taught to have some civility, to be considerate to the outside world. Because now you have been trained, you are in a different category. You are different from civilian. You are not a civilian anymore. So your reasoning should be above that. And that goes across.
Okay. So now you're very big on, you are not a civilian anymore.
Yes.
So the period, I believe, we assume that the period of training is like 9 months.
Yeah. Yes.
9 months, right?
Yes. Yes.
So 9 months is enough to make you to turn you into a totally different person from who you are forever.
Absolutely, it does. It's meant to do that. It is meant to do that. And you see, it's not 9 months of training on one particular area. It's many, many areas. What many people don't know is that training covers many, many areas. I mean, there is drill, there is field craft, there is arms training, then there is an element of range, there is an element of warfare training. So there are many, many areas of training within those. Yeah, then there is survival training out there. Then there is physical fitness training, which is almost on a daily basis.
I'm tempted to bring this into the world of ordinary people, the world of civilians.
Yes.
If 9 months can change you totally from civilian to like some forever
to a service person,
that dictates how you behave, how you carry out your things.
That's right.
And one day I'll tell our audience the things I've noticed about you that spell military.
Yes.
Kianza na time keeping. So 9 months that changes your life totally.
Yes.
Can someone apply that in ordinary life? Kusema, like there's something people say online, ati disappear for 6 months and come back a different person. Can this formula apply to one person, to any person out there? Like, I want to take 9 months to change my life to a different trajectory, kabisa, whichever trajectory that is. Is that a psychological element that can be applied in all spheres of life? Ama the intensive nature of military training makes a difference?
You see, military training is geared to a certain kind of formation,
yes,
who they want you to be. So it is a set of values that are instilled in you in a systematic manner, and not all at once. You start by, posture. How do you stand? For example, you see these guys standing for 5 hours. How do they do it? It's through training. Yeah.
Okay. So now when I try to think your process ya kutoa mtu civilian,
yes,
like you remove the civility, right? Is this a difficult thing to process? Because as a simple-minded man, I'm looking at the military as this, correct me if I'm wrong, the most difficult part of conversion should be, you know that at one given point, you are signing up to, you may not make it, but chances are you are committing to one day you will make a decision of whether a certain individual gets to live or not.
Yeah.
Is this a difficult process? Is it scary to think about that before utolewe your civilian, before civility is removed from you?
Yes, it's very difficult, and that's why I said it doesn't happen at once. It is in stages. And what they try to do is to make you change, in a certain pattern. You by walking, and that's why you see when you are doing parade, all of you are having the same step. So you are conditioned. So that set of conditions sits somewhere in your brain, and actually for the whole group, so that you obey one command. So if it is about turn, you're not turning. If it is right turn, it is right turn, not left turn. Yeah. And you will find people making mistakes before they get used to explain what you are trying to say. Because it's not sunk into you, because your brain must be completely tuned to how that set of values sit in you, which now changes you and changes your character forever. That was your question.
So what does this tell us about the brain? The brain can be conditioned to be anything you want it to be. Can I qualify that statement?
Absolutely. You know the Sigmund Freud. What is his name?
Sigmund Freud.
Yes,
Freud.
That's right. Yes. That's right. That name difficult for me to say. Yeah, that's right. He conditioned dogs. We are animals. We are mammals like dogs. That's the same way that happens. Yes, they condition you. Yeah, and they do it without you knowing, because they are trainers. They've gone. You do not go for training to get new guys there. You get guys who've been training, and they've been trained to train, so they know. It's a cycle. They are experts, and they have been doing it. That's why you find that most of the trainers are a bit elderly people. They have a lot of experience, of experience. Yes. And they've done that several times. They have seen, and they can see character traits from a distance.
Yes. Okay. So now, then, in this case, you are also trained on, this is also part of training, the definition of who an enemy is. I'll give an example.
Yes.
You've been trained to deal with adversary.
Yes.
By killing them.
Yeah, you don't say killing, eliminating.
Okay. By eliminating them.
Yes.
Eliminating adversaries. Now, you cannot avoid the civilian world.
Yes.
So you come out, you have all that training, but there is a way you deal with civilians, even if they wrong you, and there's a way you deal with the so-called adversaries.
Yes.
In this sense, someone wrongs you, someone provokes you. As a military officer, you are limited to how you can respond, but there are people you don't think twice, you eliminate directly. What's the difference?
The difference is simple. You do not engage civilians in a military-like situation. Of course, when you're going to fight, you're in uniform and you are kitted and you have a weapon. But in the civilian world, most likely you don't have a weapon. You are in your civilian life, civilian clothes, so you're not in that mood. But once you are charged now, you're out there for an operation. You know anything can happen. And the enemy knows as well. So it is hunting one another. Whoever gets one who first. So that is, now you know that you're out there to, it's not a joke. It's not a joke.
That's a very interesting way to put it.
Yes.
Whoever gets the other one
first, yes.
It's not personal.
No, it's not personal. Yeah.
So let me paint you a picture.
There is no point of, there is no moment of negotiation. You can't sit and negotiate with an enemy. No, you've already identified this is the enemy, and it's elimination. That's it.
That's why I think I wouldn't thrive in the military, because I would have fun. Just think about this scenario. I'll paint you a picture.
Yes.
You know, whoever gets who first, you're hunting, right? Let's say I'm good in hunting. Then I catch someone.
Yes.
In a way that they can't draw, they can't nini.
Yes.
Like in my head, like I've got you.
Yes.
Like there's nothing you can do, right? I don't know how practical this, but this is how I would think.
Yes.
Like I would, personal, a situation, you accept, like, na we ni mnoma, umenishika, siku kuona ukikam, aya basi fanya kazi yako. Is that a typical scenario that would happen? When we say it's not personal.
The good thing is, you will not have that time to negotiate or say, or have that discussion you're talking about. One of you is dead. So there's no opportunity to discuss what you're talking about. Because if I got you first, you're down. I will move on and look for the next person. If you get me first, yes, I'm down. There will be no time to negotiate what you're talking about. You're down.
And that's a beautiful way to rationalize,
Yes.
It was either me or the other person.
Correct.
I survived.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
My job.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Does it change when you get to know the identity of the other person? Like, let's say, for example, there's a barrier to how you feel about a situation. Like, niliambiwa na one of our friends in the military, it was theater of war, right? Haujui ni nani, haujui ni nani umeuma, so ni job. Okay?
Yes.
Our friend James Kwatenge also tells us that alienda huko kwa kichaka and he can't tell you aliuma watu wangapi because ilikuwa ni watu wengi, then you bite and mko wengi pia, so you don't know who beat who.
Yeah, that's right.
And you mentioned that pia in our other conversation, right? So now in the event that, let's say for example, like you now get to know by the uliuma mtu fulani and it's so and so. Is this where PTSD comes? dealing with the guilt of that?
Yeah, PTSD is a situation of feeling guilty of having committed something unwillingly. It disturbs you. So, yeah, it preoccupies you to an extent of being unwell now. You know, yeah, you are not reasoning properly. And most formations know that. So that is why when you come out of on operations, you go for a debrief through professionals to prevent that. And if you have now PTSD, now it becomes a medical issue. And there are many like that.
So PTSD is not directly linked to ati uliuma mtu kwa operation.
No.
It is how you feel.
How you
about
feel.
How you...
Yes, is how you
unique
feel.
To the person.
That's right. Because in the first place, you feel bad if you knew the person. But this now, there's no difference between an animal and that person. The only difference is that he wanted to kill you, or he was infringing on your, yes. So that's the difference. So after he's gone, I mean, it's one down, move on.
To the next one.
To the next one.
Okay. Yeah. Understood and very well explained.
Yes.
Now we go back. You join in your early 20s,
yes.
right?
Yes.
This change of conditioning to become now a serviceman,
yes.
right? Are you conscious of the change that happens in you? Do you have a balance between the person you become and the person you were before? Can you tell the difference? This comes from other people telling you, hey, you may change.
You feel by being careful with your environment where you are, you're always conscious. Yeah. When a civilian is walking, they just walk. But a trained person is conscious all the time. That is why you hear unatembea kama askari. Is because you're looking out, you're always listening, you're always, what if? What if? Who is behind me? What is the motive? Now your alertness is heightened all the time. Even when you are asleep, you don't sleep completely like other people.
Yes.
No, you sleep like, they say you sleep like the cat. I'll give you another example.
Yes.
Like I've served out there. You are deep asleep, then the alarm goes off for incoming. You know, incoming is a bomb is being thrown from somewhere else, or a rocket.
Yes.
So there's that sudden maddening siren that goes off. Incoming, incoming, incoming. You have no time to waste. You wake up and rush to the nearest bunker. Fractions of seconds. If you waste time, you are hit. So that now comes from the initial training you're talking about. That anything can happen anytime.
Okay.
Yes, a rocket can come from any direction, anytime. So your mind is conditioned that if that alarm goes off, you know the direction to the bunker and the quickest way there.
Okay.
To save your life. Clothes don't matter that time.
Or you can go to the bunker naked.
Yeah, if you sleep without, I mean, yeah.
So this is a warning against people who sleep naked, as in by...
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no good reason why people should sleep naked, especially in operational areas. I mean, you're already throughout.
Thank you for validating my point. There is a religion of people who glorify sleeping naked. And I've always asked casually, na kitu iki happen, you understand? So I think that qualifies that statement.
Correct.
Very, very nicely. So is this alertness a burden, or we people who, we ordinary people who walk just because we can walk are in fact, as in, is it like we underestimate the value of alertness?
Okay. It's not a burden, because imagine a situation where you're doing practice for football.
Yes.
The first few training sessions are a burden. They are bother. In fact, you go home and use balms and stuff like that. But after you do it 1-2 weeks, now you want to do it. It's become part of you. you get used to it. You know the benefits. So it's not, once it is inside you, it becomes part of you.
So it's a good thing to actually live your life
Yes.
on that heightened level
Exactly.
of alertness.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now you also you served in the Kenyan military.
Yes.
That was the main subject of our last conversation.
Right,
The
right,
Kenya
right.
Air Force, right?
Yes, yes.
And then you also get a gig
Yes.
in the U.S. Army. It's the U.S. Army, right?
No, not exactly, but I will tell you. Yes.
So how does this come about?
Many organizations recruit for service. It's called the TCN, Third Country Nationals, to go work with the Americans. But the training is almost similar. But because of the NATO rules, you cannot, for example, where I was, it was a fight between the Americans and those nationals, the Iraqis and the Afghans. So you cannot get yourself involved. So when they are busy out there, you are guarding the fort. I mean, where they stay, where they live, and then you are doing it through technology, you're doing through physical, and also you're also minding their welfare, right?
Yes.
Because they use equipment, yeah, they use cameras, they use high-tech vehicles. So all those things are maintained by other people other than themselves. That's what we do.
So now you're not, NATO rules does not allow you to engage.
Yes, that's why you're called a TCN, Third Country National, TCN.
But you are in a war zone.
Yes, that's exactly.
If the enemy, if the enemy comes at you directly, you are only limited to screaming.
No,
like Americans.
Not exactly. I told you before you get deployed, you get a lot of training. A lot of training. You must know how to defend yourself. You must know how to fight. You must know how to use weapons, various weapons.
Oh, so you're not just guarding.
No, you're not.
There's a way if they come,
yes. Oh, yes.
Unauma mtu.
Oh, a lot. It has happened many times. Yeah, it has happened. Yeah.
Now, does this bring a thrill of being in the zone? Like what they are doing, you have done that job separately before, right? First of all, do they retrain you, vile unasema, as intensively as you were trained in the Air Force?
Yes, because there's a difference of the equipment used. Here there is one set of equipment, like in different sort of guns, but there they use other different set of guns which you are not familiar with. So you must be taught how. And you see, when you are being trained to use a weapon, it involves a lot of things. These, stripping and assembling, and then cleaning the weapon, then using the weapon to real firing, shooting. So because you must be able to use that weapon effectively. If it is hitting, you hit the head. That is why range shooting is a must, and it is done regularly.
That makes sense, but hapa kwa cleaning the weapon, in my simple-mindedness, are you cleaning the weapon so that when you shoot someone, they only die of the gunshot, but uchafu ya weapon, they don't die with an infection?
Okay, that's a very good question, and many people have been asking, why do you clean a weapon? Weapon is made of metal, and metal can rust, right? All can accumulate dirt, which can have an effect on the accurateness of the weapon. That's why weapons are cleaned. Also, it has moving parts. If they rust, you may want to pull a trigger, but there is rust in there. You'll be hit instead of hitting. That's why the weapon has to be clean.
Okay.
Yeah. Very clean.
That's a nice clarification.
Yes.
I thought like it would have consequences.
No. That's how, yeah.
Bono umeua huyu na bunduki chafu.
Yeah, no. It's to make it work efficiently. Yes.
And
optimally.
And you're very specific about range training, the head.
Yes.
So that's a whole new level.
Because when you went to eliminate, you don't hit the leg. You hit the head. You don't hit the leg, you hit the head or the thorax.
Because of the heart.
Yeah.
Hey. And when you're signing up for this job, you're signing up for the job when things are hot. Unajua like uko Middle East, vitu zimekuwa moto sana. You're signing up for this job knowing very well, yes, it may have a good salary, it may have good returns or remunerations, but chances are unaweza baki huko.
Many have. Yeah, many have died out there. You're hit by a sniper bullet, or you're hit by a rocket, and many have died. Or a bomb is thrown at you, or planted, or a landmine. That has happened. It's not a big deal.
So those who survive ni because of tactics or luck?
Yeah, well, the service that you're serving, I can tell you for sure that they've gone to great lengths to make sure that you are safe, to protect you.
Great lengths?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why you have equipment like MRAP, that is mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles. And they have mine detectors. So you will not be hit ordinarily. And if you have seen in those movies, you may be hit by a grenade launcher, but they have they have grenade arresters. You know, you see those things with cages. That is the purpose of that, to protect you, so that before it gets you, it is held out there. So they do. I can assure you that they've made safety first for the people who are working for them.
And when you say many remain, does this also cause PTSD? Because I think that's also very difficult to process, because anyone I've ever talked about,
yes.
I've ever had a conversation with, when you serve in the security sector,
yes.
It's very difficult to process the pain ya mulikuwa na mtu alafu aumwe.
Aumwe ama he gets his leg amputated, or his hand amputated.
Yes.
That is normal. But you see, mental capacity means different things to different people. You could be born of one mother, but one person really doesn't care. Another one is affected by small things. It's the same. What happens is that if you are thinking about other things other than the job you are doing, most likely you can be affected by PTSD. Because you're not concentrating, you are thinking about other issues which are extraneous. So you drift. You drift from the main job there, and you become a dangerous person in that, because you in such situation, you are always your brother keeper. Yeah, I'll give you an example. You are the one doing night shift guard duties. You are up there in the tower. Then you start thinking about home, and you start about other things, or your girlfriend. Then you doze off.
I knew you had to throw girlfriend in there, but carry on.
That's right. Yes, we are human beings.
Yes.
So then at that hour, the enemy comes. They first come for you, and they use your route to get others now. That is why it is important to have teamwork. And that's why I said your brother's keeper. Your brother is sleeping because tomorrow you'll be sleeping, he'll be guarding you. If you don't do your job properly, you are putting his life at risk.
One of my favorite,
yes.
In fact, I think I should qualify the statement, my favorite movies of all time, war movies, and it's based on a real story, true story, is Hacksaw Ridge. About a young man who signed up for the military.
Yes.
He was very good across board. All the other all the other like training, fitness, nini.
Yes.
He actually in the show he almost scores perfect scores. Like kama ni running top, kama ni it's very good. Okay? But then kwa rifle training he refuses to take a gun. because something happens to him akiwa mdogo. He says that he signed up as a medic. So he says that he's signing up to save lives, not to take them. Okay? And they get into it kidogo, and what you say just happened, that you are your brother's keeper. So his unit mates also beat him up because they feel like...
In fact, I was thinking about the same. I would have done, you'll do the same.
You would beat him up?
Yes, you beat him up. I mean, because, I mean, before he's removed from that formation, that is a big risk.
But guess what? He's the one who saved most lives.
How does
when they went on a mission.
How does he do it?
It's a beautiful movie. I'll actually find a way to get it for you.
What magic does he use?
But they never touched a gun because he was almost court-martialed. His father, as a former military officer, intervenes. So they give.
Is it in an African setting or?
No. It's not in an African setting.
The reason I'm asking, I've been with those people, the Western people, and many of them, 99.9% love guns. They love weapons. They love handling weapons.
They enjoy it.
They enjoy teaching weaponry. Yes, even up to old age. My commander in Iraq was an old person. Yeah, and you cannot beat him in any field you think of. If it is the tank, he's there. If it is range, he's the best.
Oh.
Yes. They like.
Does this mean then there is a certain kind of people, nitahang hapo kwa beat him up kidogo. Is there a certain kind of people who are designed for the military? In this sense, I asked someone from the military, wakaruka hii story, but I understand, wako senior position, they would never acknowledge this. In recruitment, hiyo watu wakikimbia, kuna running, okay? And then
roadwork.
Yes, roadwork. And then something happens, watu wakipanda lorry, and then a scuffle happens, and this guy just starts fighting, like nini?
Amongst themselves.
Yes, just I think he beat up someone or something. I don't remember the story.
His colleague.
No, they have not been picked. Like akona hiyo njaa ya vita. And they were like, sasa nyinyi ndio tunataka. And then he gets, like, it's like, wow, ukona ile spirit. Is there like a spirit for the military? Like,
oh, he was fighting while still civilian.
Yes.
Well, I can't talk about that. I don't know.
In terms of spirit.
In terms of spirit.
Ukona njaa ya vita. You are the one we want.
If I were the recruiting officer, I would not take such a person.
Why not?
Because that person is unruly, and most likely he's got an ulterior motive why he wants to join. It's not like the dog situation where, the worst dog is the one that bites best. No, this is a different thing altogether. So that is indiscipline. Because, I'll give you an example.
Yes.
In the forces, most likely you have a weapon and I have a weapon. And you make a mistake or I make a mistake. Then you find that you will punish me and I will do the punishment. Never mind, I have a weapon, you have a weapon. Anyone can finish one another, right? But there is reasoning. Yes, you've done this and you need to be punished this way, and you agree to do it because of that reasoning. So that person who doesn't reason cannot fit there.
There's no training to condition this unruly person so that he can be unruly with the enemy only.
Well, those initial signs don't go away quickly. So why waste time on somebody who cannot change quickly when you have another lot willing to change? It's like when you're recruiting and you see somebody limping. I mean, you don't expect them to heal and join. No, you will not. It's the same.
But if they are limping because one leg is shorter than the other, inamaanisha anaweza piga adui teke moja ya hii mguu refu proper. Those are not consideration. Like creativity in recruiting. Like me, I would have a very, very diverse army.
Okay, your army will not be conventional. It will be,
If I approach it with an open mind.
well, it will not happen, and I will explain to you why, and why it doesn't happen in real life. When you're talking about somebody with a short leg, it means that a person cannot run. That's number one.
One step is longer than the other.
Not even that. I mean, you're carrying weight, so you can't run. You're climbing, you can't climb. Yeah, you're doing parade formation. How does that one person with a short leg do formation? How does he walk? Because the steps are the same. Because his steps will be short. Short steps, yes. He will not be like others.
Oh, right turn will be longer than
Correct.
left turn.
Correct. Yeah. He will not be able to hold his weight on one short leg. Yeah.
No, but you can stand on one, ukichoka, and then you stand on the other.
Okay, fine. Yeah. When you're doing a right turn, if it is like left.
Yes.
But what about when you're doing left turn?
Oh,
Yeah, you cannot.
okay.
Yeah. That's why you've never seen one like that.
Okay. So this sana sana, what I pick is like the training sana sana is to deal with the emotional being. Because when I ask, kama ati by when you are with someone and then they remain, okay? Does this mean
You mean they pass out? They pass away.
they pass away, right? Especially in action, okay? Does this mean that when you go in an operation with someone, you have to detach from them emotionally so that it doesn't affect you much if something was to happen to them?
You say it's bad luck.
Or it's just...
It's bad luck that he's been hit, and you continue. You move on. Because if you do not move on, you'll be hit.
Or this is what you mean by distraction, like your mind goes to something else.
That's right, yes. Yes.
So this could also be an explanation of PTSD, because once you are removed from that environment, then you start thinking about this.
That's right, yes.
It can weigh you down.
It's not, it will weigh you down. It will. Because now you be left with that, you'll be thinking only about that issue.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as a brilliant man in the military, umetoka Kenya, you go work in the Middle East,
Yes.
right? Is this to mean that from the conditioning in the military, this is your best work environment? I'm asking this in reference to, is this the best path for veterans, people who leave the military? It's better to find something along the lines of what you've done because it's easier to fit in and it is utilization of your skill. When
teachers retire, you find that most likely they've opened their own small school.
Okay.
People tend to continue the line they are working on because that's what they know best.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, and it's only here in Africa where veterans are not recognized.
Okay.
People out there long to be called a veteran.
Please explain.
They are given special preference in government services, in banks, in every other area. All they have to do is say, I'm a veteran.
Yes.
Yes. If you want to see what it means to be a veteran, when I think twice in a year they do commemoration of the war graves, the unknown soldier. If you go there, you'll find those old people with medals. Yeah, and they are given high places out there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because they are veterans.
Why do you think a place like Kenya, we don't have that?
It's a government policy, and it comes with the responsibility and also respect. And I think it is also has something to do with the economic situation of any country. The countries we are talking about, they have resources and they have structures of retired people, veterans. In Kenya, they are there but very weak. And of course, there is no budgetary support. That is what happens. Even if it's there, it's minimal, budgetary support. Because some activities need money to be a veteran. Yeah? You need to go for training, you go for getting together, you need to access those military institutions, Yes, yes. So you find that there is that budgetary constraints. Okay. That is why many people in Kenya specifically are not noticed, never noticed.
So
they resign to the villages.
So what this basically means is for anyone who joins the system, and personally for KDF,
yes.
I did a story on PTSD, and then they invited us to Langata Barracks,
yes,
where they actually have a wellness center.
Yes, wellness center.
Yes. And I saw like what they have a process to take people through, and they also had their side of the story, what they are doing
from the front.
Yes, people from the front. So do you think it's their responsibility? So on top of initiatives like the wellness center, they need to come up with strategies to cover the veterans peer in the same process, so that it becomes, you don't just join the military to make only the best when you're in the military. Ama that would be to have like an extra after, beyond retirement package, beyond the benefits, like unified system of veterans, nationalistic image, so that joining the military becomes, yes, the joining, the process, and what comes after.
What you're talking about is being taken care of after serving your nation.
Yes.
It's not there in Kenya, not that I'm aware of. I know there is Kafoka, I know there are such other small organizations, but they don't provide much. So, because it's supposed to also cover medical. Yeah. Okay. And I doubt it does. And it's still the same thing that I was talking about, the economic situation of any nation.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I'll do more research on that, and I believe we can do a follow-up on the same.
That's right.
Wakati tulikuwa, when we were explaining about like focus, like you're supposed to stay guard, you threw in girlfriend there. Ukasema you're probably thinking of your girlfriend. What is the place for women in the military?
First and foremost, there are women who are serving as well.
Okay.
And when they are serving, they are not women, they are service people.
Well, that's a strong statement.
Exactly.
When they are serving, they are not women.
Yeah, they are not women, they are service people.
Okay.
Yeah, when they are serving, it's not below the belt. It's what is up there. That is serving. So,
okay.
Yeah. And especially if you're in active area, you also have no time for what you might be thinking about. This is serious business.
That's an accusation, but
yes, that's right.
Yes.
Serious business. So, but obviously you have a family, and you can slot in some time to think about that. That's why you call back home and talk to them. That is why you see, and especially I've heard you talk about movies, when especially the Americans, when they are coming home, they call and say, I'm coming home. And then people go to receive them with happiness because they have missed them. But your conditions too have a special window for that occasion. After that, when you hit the door and you're going out to serve, that is, you don't even remember. So if you allow yourself to drift to that, now that is when you lose control and you lose focus.
And when it comes to training,
yes,
there are women who, like, kuna kwanga na allegations that women don't go to the war front. Are there women who actually engage in direct combat?
They do. I can tell you they do. They even fly jets and they fight. Yes.
Okay.
I've seen them.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming that. So now, this is not for me. This is for the people watching. They told me to ask you this.
Right.
Who marries the women who fight terrorists?
Who marries them?
To break it down, in terms of how servicemen have families, is it possible for us? Let me start with the servicewoman. Is it possible for a servicewoman, and in this case, let's say a lady who fights in the forefront, to marry a civilian and have a stable family?
Yeah, it's possible. I know, yeah, it is possible. But that civilian must be one with a lot of patience, because this person will go out and with a lot of trust. although there are minimal chances of being naughty out there. There's too much work to start thinking about other monkey business.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it is possible. It is possible. And I can assure you, I know some service women who get made very good wives. Very, very good wives.
To civilians?
Yes. Yes, to civilians. And even to servicemen. When they are in the house, they are man and wife.
There is direct separation.
Yes. Yes.
Is this to say that in the 9 months, people you also trained on family values?
I didn't come across that. Now that
Exactly.
you see, the institution of marriage is the only institution you get a certificate before you practice or you go to school.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's the same. You learn on the job.
Okay.
Yeah, you learn to tolerate one another. You learn to accommodate one another. Yeah. Although I don't have personal experience, but I have seen some. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And don't you think it's naturally for men especially, and I think this is why people assume that women don't go to the forefront, because there is a natural reflex for men to protect women, especially in a situation like that, say combat.
Yeah, but that's an old idea. Women are in combat today, all wide. They will be there. They will fight.
Okay.
Yeah, they will fight. And I've seen them do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do military officers need friendship? Like, how do you manage bonding? We've said that if you are close to someone and something bad happens to them, simple, bad luck. You move on, right? But does it change how you have friends? For example, you had a best friend probably before you joined the military, right? Your friendship changes for the most part.
Yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
You meet new people who you share experiences with, and they become your friends.
You share values.
Or you share values. Is the friendship different from how you make friends with someone who is a civilian?
Exactly. I'll tell you something, and it's important, and I note it.
Okay.
During training, you are taught that your friend number one is your weapon. That is your friend number one.
Okay.
Ask any soldier, will tell you, friend number one is your weapon. Then your friend next is the person you are working with or you're having an operations with. Because like we have said before, he'll cover you and you cover him.
Okay.
So if you relate that to the outside world now, you will not have that level of trust to a civilian friend because you have nothing. And you when you have a discussion, there's so much sifting of issues or discussion with that person, because in most cases he will not understand what you're talking about. You're talking about maybe weaponry, the guy has no idea. You're talking about a certain mission you had, you think you're talking about what happens in Mars. So you find that you don't really relate that. Yeah. So you develop levels.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is what happens in most cases.
You develop levels.
Yes.
Your environment,
Yes.
your mentality changes totally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Completely.
Yeah. So now, before we get on set, we discussed something that I think was very liberating to hear. Mental slavery. In fact, you quoted Bob Marley, right?
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, and you give an example with your experience in the Middle East, where you noticed like your colleagues from other countries had a serious detachment from material things, right? And I think this is a very interesting concept. Does this change how you think, and how do you notice it?
Yes, it does. It does. It comes with a lot of thinking. For example, you're out there, you go for a mission, and you are hit. You don't come back. What happens to your property? Yeah, you have property out there, although not much, then you don't concentrate and you are hit thinking about it. So you must not think about what you left. I can tell you, people own things. People own, like music systems, like, personal items, called personal effect.
Yes.
But when you're out there, you have nothing. You have
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like the song that says, all I have is me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, nothing else.
Yes, 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 yes.
Because you are there for a certain mission, which is defined. Not
Okay.
what you have or what you're going to earn. So you learn how to detach yourself from material things and attach yourself to the mission, the purpose of the mission. That is why we go to school when you are deployed out there. Why are you here? You are trained. And what is the source of this conflict and why are you participating? Are you willing to submerge yourself in it after being explained why you are there?
Which begs the question,
Yes, please.
is there a point that you detach from the original reason you joined? Because man has to earn a living. So before you sign up, you're signing up because probably they are paying well. It's a well-paying gig, right? Are you saying that at some point you now detach from like doing it because of how much you're going to earn in the end? It becomes solely about the mission.
Let me explain to you. And to make sure that your thinking is, your way of thinking is removed from the picture.
Okay.
When you are out there, we say theater.
Yes.
It's called theater.
Yes.
Your money is paid back home. So you don't worry. You don't think about it. And they make sure they get the best facility and way of getting your money to your bank account or to your family. You get to know. So you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, so it's not like
No, you don't
you're
get
looking for some place to spend your money in Afghanistan?
No. Oh, that's another angle you brought. In my many years of stay out there, I never went out to a club or ate food in a hotel outside the camp.
Why is that?
You don't go out. Your whole life is spent in the camp. Yeah,
So
Sunday to Sunday, unless you're going out on a mission. And the mission is guarded and organized in such a way that you're not alone. You are in an enemy territory. If they get you alone, hey, you're done. That is exactly what happened, and I don't go into that because the matter is life. That is exactly what happens. If they're able to separate you from the flock one, then it's too bad.
Oh, so it's purely tactical?
Yes.
This is not like your polite way of confirming that you don't have another family in Afghanistan?
You will not have. First of all, because of racial differences, then the religious differences, they will not allow you to touch their people. That is out of the question. That is a completely out of the equation. In my many years of stay out there, I don't know who ever mingled with them. It's not possible. There's no possibility. You are not there on a picnic. It's not a holiday. Yeah.
Okay.
You're on a serious mission. Yes.
So this definitely has to change you somehow, because that's like jail, for example. That's like jail where there's a possibility that you've been, like it's a jail, but then that's like being sentenced to death. You're lucky and hoping for parole, technically.
No, it's not jail. And I'll go back once again and tell you, the way those missions are organized,
Yes.
they have you in mind.
Okay.
There's so much to keep you comfortable. There is MWR, where you can go for gym, you can go for sauna, you can go for massage. There are movies. They're all, when you're off duty, there are areas you spend your time. Yes.
You can go for massage.
Yes. Yeah. You can go for a run, because those compounds are big. You're talking about miles and miles and miles of those camps.
I understand everything else, but
Yes.
hapo kwa massage.
Yes, there are massage parlors. Yeah, there are people employed to do that.
And they're also military people.
Yeah, of course. And even in Kenya here, there are people called batman. Their work is to take care of their bosses. They do the shoes, they do the clothes, you see. Yes, if you didn't know that, they're there. There are people who wash other people's clothes, and they're in uniform as well. They're called batmen.
But yeah, that I understand, but massage, on principle, for a man, massage has to be done by...
Not necessarily. No, that is a concept in your mind.
No.
Yeah, I mean, look, in a football, in a pitch, men do other people massage.
No, that is medical. That is medical. This other one in the camp, no, that you don't come back from that. And I know our audience agrees with me that there is no way a man is massaging you. That is illegal.
They are men masseuses. They are there.
Yes, but they are to massage women.
That is your definition.
In principle.
Well, in your world, but they are there.
Then that's even worse than I thought.
There are women who massage women, and there are men who massage women, and there are women who massage men.
No, women, it's understandable. But for men...
Is that what you'd like?
In the camp?
You like to have a lady mass you?
It's not what I'd like. It's stipulated. It is...
Well, okay.
It's stipulated.
That is new for me.
That's, oh Lord, that's new revelation.
Yeah, that's new,
even for our audience.
I know. It's the same way people never used to think that a man can do nurse work. To be a nurse.
It's different. 100%. It's different. Like,
why is it different? I mean, I thought massage is to relax muscles, to press and to turn.
When you're on the show last, we agreed. I agreed with your perspective that men have become weaker. But now this changes because, like today, we know even men, when men, mwanaume akipanda nduthi, like a motorbike, you don't hold the motorbike guy like this.
As a man?
You don't.
But I can assure you, before I came here, I went for a haircut. And it was by a man, done by a man, and he massaged me. What's the difference?
Oh, Lord. Which kinyozi is that, so that people don't go there? Because you will check the comments, they will agree. All those other things, okay, nursing, haircut, that's fine. Every kinyozi I know, if I don't think there is a way the barber can even look at you, leave alone massaging, right? But sawa, tuachane na hiyo. When it comes to military training, the intensive nature of the training itself and even going to combat, most people believe that you must have extra support. Like you cannot do some things when you're sober. Like you need to pick a boost na something and other stuff. What's going on there?
I can tell you for sure that assumption is wrong, completely wrong. And it's actually forbidden. It's they say in military language that is marufuku. There is no sniffing, no.
Totally.
Totally. It is absolutely not allowed. And if you are caught after training out there in the, now after you left training, in most cases it's dismissal, straight away. It's not, that I can tell you, locally and out there, it is not allowed.
Is this just for the ordinary military levels or even for like extreme cases like special forces?
I don't know what you mean by special forces.
Like I'm meant to understand that the special forces are now like the military training, basic military training, amplified to levels that are almost superhuman.
Oh, you mean like now training to be a SEAL? You know the
yes.
It's not allowed. They don't do it. It is additional training and hardened training. They are there in the Navy. They are there in the Air Force. They are there in the Army. Yes, those are additional training for additional stamina for some special purposes.
What's this to say in terms of the difference between someone, because, okay, on one hand, I can believe hiyo kitu because one of my friend Cleven Langi, who owns who founded K9 Alligators, is the most sober
K9
person
Alligators,
I've met. Yes. And he's done all those trainings. In fact, he ranks either in top 1% of military training. And I look at him and I believe he's a very sober person. He's the most humble, dangerous person.
I can assure you he doesn't even imbibe. He doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink.
Yes, I know. Yes.
He doesn't. But then again, sasa tukona ile, on that level, because I've seen him, I would agree that sawa. Okay? So then that makes me question, what's the difference between the person who goes through those levels of training and the person who accepts that they can't? What I mean?
You opt out.
Yes. Is it physical capabilities? Is it more about mental strength and endurance?
Okay, in any formation, for example, in the Navy, but I didn't serve in the Navy, you go through the initial training, then they come and announce we need a certain formation to do a certain task. And this task comes with a certain training. Just like when you go back in the Air Force, after the initial training, you want to be, for example, an aircraft technician, E&I, electrical and instrument.
Yes.
You must go to school for that now. So that is also additional training. Only that now, this time it's not physical, it's mental. You must gain that special skill. For example, you must know how to work on a gyroscope. You must know how to work on an altimeter and what it does. You must know how to do calibration on it. Yeah, you must know how to calibrate a compass. Ordinary person will not do it because they are not trained. Now, that is different from a person handling the same aircraft but doing airframes and engines. So the person doing instrumentation cannot do the engines, right? The person now doing the radio and radar cannot do the airframes and the engines. Because now radio and radar are communication equipment.
Okay.
So his level is different and his training is different. But they are all soldiers. Basically, they are all soldiers. But they are now different disciplines. So this one is radio, radar. This one electrical and instrument. This one is airframes and engines. Airframes is the body. Yeah, and they combine with the engines. So that the guys who can dismantle a jet engine and put it together.
Okay.
Yes. So that training is now is elevated training. So now SEALs, for example, that you're talking about, are the people who do stealth ambush.
Okay.
Yeah, in beaches. So they are trained in situations where, I mean, they can leave their boat about 10 kilometers and swim ashore. So you must have stamina and you're trained to do that. And also you are trained how to handle those weapons that resist water invasion. That is the difference.
Okay.
Yes.
So in terms of rank, ranking in the military as we wind up,
yes.
In terms of climbing through the ranks,
yes.
I noticed something.
Yes.
And I think it was Mobutu, if I can remember the details correctly. He has a background in the military.
Yes.
So he had someone in the military, appoint him or promote him to a higher position so that I think he controls, as he gets control, certain level of control, right? So if you can take us through the military rankings, my question is, say for example, a general, is it about age? Is it about experience? Or someone can rise through the ranks to become a general even without ever conducting war strategy or anything?
Okay, it's a difficult question, but I attempt to go through it.
Yes.
After independence in Kenya, let me start there, we had the white man So they were both in officers and
Yes.
other ranks.
Yes.
But when now, post independence, you found that you had some people were serving and there were other ranks, but because the white man was leaving, they were promoted to become officers. Now, I don't want to mention names, but they now went through the ranks and intense training, because brain can be trained, yeah? And don't forget they are also in service.
Yes.
So they know most of the thing that goes on there. So what are you training on is the administrative aspect. Yeah, because you can't say one is a fierce fighter and the other one is not. They are all the same.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
yes,
you're
yes.
talking about the
Yes.
administrative functions.
Yes.
How to administer a section, how to administer a squadron, how to administer a battalion, how to be the commander overall. It is administrative. Together? So far?
It's different.
Yes.
Administering a platoon.
Yes.
And administering
Yes.
a brigade.
Yes, because of the size.
Okay.
Because of the size,
Yes,
the
yes,
numbers,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
what they're expected to do. So now, coming to your question is that whether you can rise from, say, a private to a general. Yes, it is possible, although it will take many, many years because of the different levels in between of ranks. Right? So what happens is that if a certain formation identifies a certain brain on entry, they will watch that person. Then when there are chances to recruit now the higher cadre, say cadets, they will be asked to apply. If they go through,
yes,
they are
yes, yes.
taken and they are taken back for training. And then this time now, it doesn't matter whether for training or not, you go for cadet training. And it's very difficult, it's tough. Then from there, you now start climbing from that level, and now you can go as far as you can. And in Kenya, it applies. That is what has happened here in Kenya. But there are different formations out there. Because of the large number of formations out there, you find that it is difficult to climb. So you find that those senior officers are direct entries. But in Kenya, it only applies to specialized categories. Like if you're a doctor, when you join, you are directly taken as a captain, engineers,
Yes,
like
yes.
that.
Yes, yes.
So then you start climbing up.
And
So that's a difference.
You've
So
answered it.
yeah, but I can assure you, in most militaries that I know, there are opportunities to rise depending on your capability and your dedication.
That's very interesting that you say that it is identified.
Yes.
Kule kwa training.
Yes.
So they observe.
Oh yeah, a lot.
You are marked
a lot. Yes, of course. You're academic, yeah. The way you perform. You know, many people think there are no tests. You do tests. Yes. You are taught. You are in class. You're taught like weaponry, yeah. And of course, somebody might forget, what you're taught about a certain weapon and all that.
So even we can accurately say that when the KDF is recruiting,
yes,
when they observe the recruits,
yes,
they can even see a potential chief of defense.
Yes, they can. Although that's a long shot, though. But you can rise. You can rise.
Okay.
Yeah, you can rise. I'll give you an example. I know of a certain CDF who retired not so many years ago.
Yes.
He rose through I knew him when he was a lieutenant, and he rose up all the way to CDF. And by the time they were retiring, they had a PhD.
And I would assume that this means if you knew him, this is almost saying that you are peers.
Yes.
And now that's interesting because, let's say, for example, in this case, when someone, can you feel the effect? And this, I think this also brings us to your friendship. If you know someone and they rise through the ranks to, let's say, that level of CDF, right? Does your relationship change? Let's say you leave at captain. Someone you knew rises to CDF. Does how you relate change by virtue of the fact that, of the position?
Let me give you a different dimension.
Yes.
And also to provoke your thoughts. you are serving in a military as other ranks. At the same time, you are a father. You get a son, and you are still serving. The son grows, go to school, and he comes back. Now he's of age, and he joins as a cadet. But you are other ranks. He goes through the training and is commissioned. He becomes your boss, but you are the father.
Your son becomes your boss.
Yes. And it has happened. Yeah.
But I'm the boss at home still.
It doesn't matter. Now home is home. But here is work.
You know, it's funny because
Yes.
that can happen.
It has happened. It has happened. So it is the respect that is taught in the military. Now here, I'm trying to dispel that notion you have, issue of friendship. No. Now this is command. And this is...
And you have to salute them.
Exactly.
That is your decision to have sex one day coming now to hit you proper.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And you have to obey them.
Yes, when you go home is your son, but when you are in the office or at your workplace is your boss.
So I can just step on the fatherhood at home to kutane job.
You'll sort yourselves out there. So your question was valid, but that now give you the other dimension.
The perspective.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Brilliantly answered. Thank you. And I think we'll throw this to our audience. Mtoto wako wakikuja and they outrank you in the military, whether that changes. Ati mudosi.
Oh yeah, it has happened. It happened. And like I said last time, I encourage young men to join the military. You learn a lot.
Yeah, but I think the relationship, the family bond changes because my friend Kingsley, let me just mention, my friend Kingsley Litali, he runs a podcast called Crime Shield. He deals with security matters. He left the military. And one time he mentioned something that I carried to date. And I told him, nilimwambia, he told me that his father is his best friend and how they relate. And the respect that alikuwa na describe nayo his dad, I was like, that's admirable. Do you know how like rare it is for someone to grow, alafu unafika hiyo level, alafu you respect your father like that? So when I put your hypothesis in that scenario, I don't think there's any way, ata if he outranked, and I think he also joined as a cadet, if he outranked his father, their relationship would change just because of work.
It will change for sure. This I can assure it will change because it is very simple. The amount of exposure goes with the ranks. What you know might be a little bit lesser than what I know because of where I stand. So I know much more. I carry more secrets than you.
Oh, yes.
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 Operational secrets.
Okay.
So when I'm talking with you, I'll be measured.
Okay.
Yes, there are things I can talk and there are things I cannot talk. That's the difference.
Understood.
Yes.
Is it a difficult decision to choose a next of kin as a military officer? In this sense, I didn't know how much of weight the idea of next of kin carries. So you are a married officer, but you have a mom. So do you list, is there a weight between listing your wife as the next of kin in the military or listing your mom as the next of kin, bearing in mind that the system recognizes the person that you have listed?
The good thing with the military is this. Before you do next of kin, you are coached. So to resolve your issue, you can classify them. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Yes, that resolves your issue.
Yes. Yeah, understood. It's not like cast on stone that you have to choose one person.
It's not, yes.
Okay. Sawa, tumemaliza story yetu, but I think it would be very unfair, karibu, very unfair if we didn't ask of a memorable moment you experience in outside.
Memorable. There are many, but I'll tell you, is when you go out to range and you outdo others, there's a nice reward. and I've twice or thrice been in that position.
In the range, like training?
Yes, yes. Yeah, you aim to all your rounds in a bull. You feel very nice, you feel good. And there is a heavy reward, good reward.
Oh, just for training?
Yeah,
like if
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 week you feel very good. It's a financial reward.
No, but you're detached. Despite being detached from material rewards, you still get to enjoy the benefits.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you play your life differently, you're glad you joined the military, or there's another way it plays out? In this sense, do you reap benefits? Are there benefits that you get by virtue of the fact that you decided to follow the path of...
Yes, many. For example, I wouldn't be here talking to you if I had not joined the military. This is, I'm telling you, many people wish to be here.
Thank you.
They are not.
That's humbling feedback. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
And many others.
Many others.
Yeah, you, like we used to say, join the Air Force and see the world, travel the world.
Or join the Air Force and travel the world.
Yes, and the jet pilots is fly the jet, look at the guys and bomb them.
But the jet pilot can retire to a commercial pilot, I believe?
Yes, many have done that.
Oh, many have done that?
Yeah, many have. It's called conversion.
But they must feel the commercial planes being too slow.
Well, that is relative. Yeah, but now it's a way of living.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know many who have converted.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have become very good pilots. Very good pilots.
Na tumeambia system what they can do for veterans to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
On your end, what do you think Kenyans, the general Kenyan public, can do for army or military veterans to
more
feel
resources are allocated to veterans and good organization for veterans, registration, and to know their welfare. Where are they? What are they doing? You see, follow up on veterans because they've given their life and service to this country in very difficult situations and conditions.
Okay.
So somebody should sit back and think about those people who leave their service.
Okay.
Yes. They've given their life and they've served in most cases in very difficult situations.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I don't know whether you've been to Ajia or Mandera, those sites. It's very uncomfortable to be there. And they are there in uniform, sometimes in the trenches.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
when you're enjoying your bed here, he's out there.
Okay.
He's sleeping next to a gun.
And that is necessary for people to
protect
enjoy
you.
their bed.
To protect you.
Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
Thank you.
Asante sana. In our previous episode, we featured Mr. Njoroge Muigai and David Njau, and they were following up kwa story ya like 1982 officers who were falsely accused of being involved in the coup, na bado wanaendelea kufuata justice ya kama at compensation, which may not even match up to the experiences they went through. They're still following up, and hopefully they see light at the end of the tunnel. So now, today, Mr. Njoroge Muigai alipita tukamuhanda because we promised tukimaliza the other episode that we'll have another conversation with him. Na najua bado mtaitisha zingine, so we'll check if his schedule allows. Kama mko na swali, by the way, if you have any question that you feel we've not exhausted, please feel free to forward them, nitakutumia, and then we check if your schedule allows. So ilikuwa an impromptu planning because I know how he talks and I know his good vibes, so atungeacha good vibes ziende hivyo, so we ambushed him to sit down for a conversation with us. So hatukuweza kuleta David Njau, and interestingly in the previous episode I was also introduced to him by Leshaz. Leshaz ni Masai mmoja amechanuka Africa. Sijui kama mutawaiona Masai amechanuka, and that's notwithstanding kuliko Leshaz. Leshaz introduced me to Mr. Njoroge Muigai, alafu he insisted that he has to tag along a friend because in the course that they are following, your justice, there's very many groups, and he wanted a representation from other groups, not just the group that he represents. That's why Leo ako one man on the show. We trust that the conversation has been good vibes, and we hope this was time well wasted. That's a phrase I borrowed from Larry Madowo. I found it interesting.
Well spent.
You can't explain it.
Thank you.
Well spent. well spent works. So the paradox is an enjoyable part, but thank you actually for making time for us.
Most welcome.
Thank you, sir.